breathe purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors? Now, time for the most in-depth look at the world of ECU athletics. Welcome in to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Now, here's your host, Stephen Igo.
Welcome in. It is Hoist the Colors, Thursday, April 3rd edition of the show. We are live on YouTube and Facebook. If you've got a question, a comment, a concern, drop it in the chat. We'll get to it over the course of the next hour. Always, as a reminder, you can check out our show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. If you don't catch it live or if you miss any of it live, you can go back and hear it in podcast form. You can also watch us daily on YouTube live as well as Facebook, as I just mentioned, and check out those archives as well if you miss any of the shows. Give a subscribe to the 94.3 The Game YouTube page. We are up to 1.62 K subscribers, so that number continues to rise as we get up our social media following. We also had the Patrick Johnson Show on that channel, as well as all post-game interviews as well. And give us a like and subscribe on Hoist the Colors YouTube channel for the Hoist the Colors podcast. Bucks on the Pond airs every Monday night, 9 o'clock during the season. All right, we've got a lot to discuss on today's show. ECU baseball wins a fifth consecutive game. To help us discuss that, we've got an old friend of the show, Cason Remaley, is joining us. Cason, how's it going, man?
It's good, guys. It's good to be back here. It's been a good while. It's good to be back coming off a ECU win, back-to-back ECU wins. It's never easy in the midweek in the Carolinas, as we know, but I wouldn't say it was an easy win last night, as I think some people might have expected, but a win is a win in my book.
We've got the perfect guy on because Cason runs Carolina Curveball along with many of his buddies, and Carolina Curveball obviously covers baseball across the Carolinas, so we'll get into ECU's wins over two Carolina teams, UNCW and Elon, here in a minute. We've got Philip Pilkinen producing in the 94.3 The Game studios. Philip, you're doing it all these days, producing baseball games, running career fairs. You're kind of like a Swiss Army knife over there.
Yeah, it kind of feels like it. I was in here for the late one on Tuesday night. I luckily got to go last night, but it was a late night Tuesday. Not as late of a night last night, but I'm excited to have Cason on. It's kind of weird now having Cason on, right? Because it used to be when Cason showed up, you had to make sure you knew all your basketball stuff. You had to be up to date because we were talking basketball. And now he's turned from the basketball expert to he thinks St. John's is going deep in the tournament. And now all of a sudden he knows all about baseball. And now I got to be up to date on baseball. So it's kind of weird when I hear Cason, I got to think baseball. But, you know, it is what it is. He's becoming a Swiss Army knife as well. Well, he might just be losing his basketball blade because he thought St. John's was going to the Final Four.
Yeah, that was a tough pick. I do want to look up. I have to look at the updated standings of the Hoist the Colors Bracket Challenge. I still think Cason's dead last. So we'll talk Final Four later. It's been a struggle for Cason, but hey, he's all in on baseball right now. And life update, Cason. I don't know if you can share the specifics, but feel free to update the people. You were working at Stitch Golf along with your Carolina Curveball duty. So let us know what's going on now with Cason Remaley.
I now just got a new opportunity, a new job. I am now working at General Mills, the snack company. Everyone knows about General Mills, the G on the cereal boxes, Chex Mix, Pillsbury, Old El Paso. I am now a sales representative in the Durham, Greensboro, Burlington area. I am moving to Mebane, North Carolina in the next couple of weeks. I'm starting my new job, new life coming up quick. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a long process to me getting used to it, but I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to be very, very busy for the next couple of months, from new job to moving, getting to know a new area, as well as keeping up with Carolina Curveball and college baseball as we get into the thick of the season at the halfway point. Really, really looking forward to it. Love my time at Stitch Golf, but this opportunity came up at General Mills and I could not pass it up, and looking forward to selling some Lucky Charms.
Hey, looking forward to your work, man. Obviously, happy for you, and know it's a really good career opportunity. Obviously, huge company, corporation, so excited for you, man. And we'll still be getting you on the show. We'll get you on the show when we can. Going to get you settled into the job for a few weeks at least before we try and pry you away. But happy for you, man. Well, let's talk some ECU baseball. Pirates win last night against Elon 7-5. and really kind of a little bit of a choppy game. And to be honest, guys, I expected this. You have a dramatic road win at UNC Wilmington. They probably didn't get back until 1 or 2 in the morning. You're coming off also a road weekend travel to Rice, which is a long ways away from Greenville, North Carolina. So, bit of a letdown spot. ECU finds a way to take care of business. They are now 20-10. They win the game 7-5. We can get into some of the specifics as well here in a minute. But I just thought find a way to win, Cason, was the most important thing. So you move on to another big conference series. But I was impressed last night. They just showed up and they were ready to go from the jump.
Yeah, that's kind of been the theme of the season, just kind of finding a way to win. Normally in the past couple of years, you have these massive bats, these massive arms that you can just really rely on. But now this season, you're figuring out guys who you can lean on these positions. I mean, Burris, we can talk all day about how good he's been and just how massive he's been. And then if you look on the mound, they are very, very young on the mound. Seeing Jenkins, I think if we would have told each other in February that we would see Jenkins on a Wednesday versus Elon, we would say, "What are you talking about? What's going on?" But I like the way he's progressing. Then again, you have to think about how young he is. He should be in high school right now. So everyone to kind of pump the brakes on him. It's going to be okay. And then all these freshmen are performing so well. And if you look at, like I just stated, with all of these past guys like Justin Wilcoxon's, Carter Cunningham, all those guys were never playing as freshmen, and these guys are, and they're performing outstanding. Look at Burris, look at Thamel. Just the list goes on and on. I'm not too worried about this team. I will say, though, a host is out of the question, in my opinion. I think that's just known. And I think that they will get an at-large bid, me personally, at the rate they're going. So I'm not too worried about them.
Yeah, honestly, the conference RPI is rising, and I think they're 5th right now in league. So Charlotte is up to 80 in their RPI. That series coming up a couple weeks from now. FAU is top right around top 70. So you've got some good RPI opportunities ahead. Philip, what did you make of last night's game? We saw Colby Wallace hit a home run and pitch. We saw also Braxton Trammell continue to play well. Anything stand out to you about last night's win?
The response to bad things. Colby Wallace let up a nuke. How did he respond? He hit a nuke. Lance Williams gave up the first home run of his collegiate career. He's a freshman. He pitched out of a jam on Tuesday and then pitched us right back into one. He was called upon again to pitch out of a jam. He does it. Like I said, the next inning he lets up a nuke. Well, he threw 3 balls the rest of the inning. He faced 3 hitters. After the home run, he threw a total of 3 balls. The first pitch after it was a strike, which ended up leading to a 1-2 count that ended in a ground out. He struck out the next guy, and then I can't remember how he got the final out. That shows maturity among guys who have not thrown a lot on the mound. And the issue has been with this team, when they were losing games, is when stuff's gone bad, it's became a snowball rolling downhill headed for hell. Well, guess what? Last night, there were multiple times, and the night before, that things went bad, and guys who were inexperienced at the collegiate level on the mound, who have struggled in the past, did not struggle. They attacked. They kept their head in it. I thought last night and Tuesday night were very mature wins by East Carolina.
Guys, this is starting to remind me, and I talked about this with Mike Mullis earlier this week, of the 2022 season. And again, I'm not saying ECU is going to go on a run where they become a national seed. As Cason said, that's kind of out of the question at this point, barring basically winning every game the rest of the way, which is what the 22 season ended up happening, which I don't think is going to happen here. But the pitching, you've got Ethan Norby on Friday night. You guys at Carolina Curveball just posted a graphic, or he's leading the Carolinas in strikeouts right now. We retweeted that, but outside of that, it's pitching from day to day. I think we're going to start seeing, we're seeing now, the same arms 3-4 times a week. Lance Williams, he's got tremendous stuff. He doesn't really profile as a starter right now, so maybe you move him more into a get out of jam type reliever. But we're going to see the same arms. It's pretty clear. The same 6-7 arms each week. Obviously, you got Norby on Fridays, but after that, Ethan Young and Brad Pruitt are kind of your end of game or high leverage guys. Sean Jenkins, it appears, is going to be a part-time starter, part-time guy that follows an opener. We know Lance Williams can start. We know he can pitch in relief. We know Nick Moran can get lefties out. And then DiLorenzo and Ian White are kind of those guys who, can get it out here or there. And then also you've got Colby Wallace at the end of games. So, those are kind of the arms we're seeing right now on a consistent basis. And the injuries have led to this, Cason. It's not ideal, but I just think it's going to be an approach right now where Cliff Godwin and Austin Knight just go from game to game. All right, who do we have available today? And we'll figure it out from there, inning by inning, more so than trying to map out who's going to start on what day.
Yeah, and just like you were saying, that's how the 22 season went, and look what happened there. I'm just like you said, I'm not saying they're about to go be a national seed and host Texas, but I mean, hey, the sky's the limit. But kind of just like you said with those guys, I mean, over the past couple of years, we've seen this same trend where you have you have a good bullpen, but you're so top heavy. And towards I would say 2/3 way down, you kind of get kind of sad to say it, but you're scraping the bottom of the barrel. I definitely think going into the season, I know me and Steven were high on Jackson DiLorenzo. I definitely thought he would have a lot more of an impact this season. He has not, but then again, it's a long season. He has every opportunity to do that. And Jaden Winter, I've been hearing the last 2 years about him finally becoming his potential. We have not seen that yet. I think that hurts a lot. I think that Winter's potential is a solid midweek starter. That is my personal opinion. We have not seen that from him. But then again, just like you said, if you look back last year with Shankman and Beal, you had those two guys, and outside of that, it was a little bit of a drop-off. And then like this year with Pruitt and Young, I think Young and Pruitt are great additions. And as y'all talked about on Bucks on the Pond, it feels like every year we get these transfers that are great pitchers, but they just never find a way to be healthy. What was the guy's last name? Was it Drew Bryan last year who was in but was hurt? And then before that was the guy from A&M, Jonathan Childress, or Childress something. And just this
Jonathan
year
Childress.
with Towers and Tolick. We heard so much about them in the fall and how they're going to be such massive pieces. And here we are, April 3rd, and they're not here yet. And it just makes you play these what ifs in your head. If if we had Ryan Towers, is he the Friday or Saturday guy? Is Norby in the pen? Before the year, Norby's in the pen. Now he's a clear Friday night guy, and he's a midseason second team All-American, leads the Counts in strikeouts with 60, putting up 19 Ks in a game. It's just baseball, and it just goes to show how anything can change in a moment. And just there are these razor thin margins each and every year.
Yeah, and a large part of it, as Philip and I have talked about as well, is just throwing strikes. ECU last night, I think, limited it to 4 walks, which you will take, especially in a midweek game. And, that's the thing. Colby Wallace gave up a bomb, but that's fine. He gave up 2 bombs. Keep throwing strikes, man. Make them hit their way back into the game, and don't just give them free base runners. So, I don't know, Philip, we've kind of been, I don't want to say out on the pitching, but it just kind of is what it is at this point. We're past half a season of a sample size, and this is just how it's going to be for better or worse.
You're right. It is. However, I do think there are some guys who there's obviously some guys who still have the walk issues, but I think some guys are at least keeping it tamed, I should say. They're still not great. They're not throwing as many strikes you want to, but what you hope is that they are still kind of evolving and they are learning from the guys who are ahead of them. And I'm not saying learn from Ethan Norby, because you can't go out there and be Ethan Norby. Nobody else is on this staff. But there's no reason you can't go out and be Colby Wallace or be Lance Williams, if you were Jackson DiLorenzo or Jaden Winter. When you're one of those guys, you can go up and become somebody who is, quite frankly, throwing strikes. And D'Lo and Winter, they both have good stuff. It's just a matter of whether or not they're on. Those guys have movement on their fastball. They've got a great arsenal of pitches. So I think you're right, Igo. Is that we kind of are what we are, but I think we are in a spot now where we've kind of settled in and figured out who we are. And I think this whole, like you said, the 6-7 arms and kind of treating it like the 2022 season is maybe what this team is. Whereas a year ago, you were maybe more of a traditional pitching staff. You had an ace, you had another ace, you for much of the season had a guy you threw on Sundays. Obviously, Jake ends up getting hurt, but and then also it's kind of one of the guys we haven't mentioned in this show is Jake Hunter can also start. I mean, he's a 4 or 5 inning guy. He's a great inning eater. He can come in. He's not your best high leverage guy, but he can do it. And he's the guy. Hey man, maybe your starter gets roughed up and only throws 2 or 3 innings, and he can come out there and get you 4 or 5. And if he can throw 5 innings of 2 or even 3 run baseball, you'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, right now there are 6 guys I feel really good about when they're on the mound: Ethan Young, Ethan Norby, Brad Pruitt, Jake Hunter, Lance Williams if he's throwing strikes, and also Kobe Wallace, and then Sean Jenkins as well. I think if he's in the right spot,
you're missing the guy who is leading the Carolinas in ERA.
Did I say Norby?
No, Nick
Who
Moran.
am I missing? Moran is leading the Carolinas in ERA, but still, I don't know, 13 strikeouts, 11 walks. He's still got to throw more strikes.
He does.
Now but 120 batting average against. He's not giving up hits. So I mean, he's just got to be in the zone.
So you said 11.
I didn't know he was leading the Carolinas in ERA.
11. Yeah, Cason quizzed me on that before, and I got it right. I will say before you signed on.
That's wild.
How many innings pitched does he have? Because you said 11 walks.
15.1 innings.
Yeah, those are a little high. You want to get it down to about half a walk per inning. But at the end of the day, when you're striking a lot of guys out, obviously he's getting a lot of weak contact. If he's they're hitting 120. So I get what you're saying. You don't totally trust him, maybe to the level you trust some of those other guys. But I trust him a hell of a lot more than I trust half the staff right now.
That's fair for sure. All right, one more question. We'll get a break in. We'll discuss more baseball across the Carolinas. But my question is, look, we got a long way to go. As Cameron points out, big weekend. We appear to be playing better, but we have been playing some of the worst teams in the country. He says we'll learn a lot this weekend against FAU. I was texting with Cason. I told him I was going to ask him this. Does this ECU team have what it takes if they get into the postseason to make a run? Or is it just not going to be the year? Or is it just too early to say?
I think this team, from what I've seen in terms of pulling themselves together and rallying, I definitely think so. And also, I know Cliff Godwin has been taking a lot of heat this year, even though they're 20-10. I mean, this is a down year for ECU, if people want to say it, I guess. But I mean, they're still winning baseball games. And yes, say what you want about the competition. Yes, it is bad. They did play VCU, who would lose to Oklahoma in softball probably. But I mean, it is just. I mean, I'm not worried about this team, and I definitely think if they get okay, I'll say this: it's also a part of having the bracket fall your way. And I mean, that is also a major part of this. I mean, ECU is the perfect example of this. If you look at the teams they've played in Super Regionals, the last time they've been in Super Regionals, they have ran into absolute buzzsaws. So it's also a major part of that too. But I think this team going to run. If you start Norby, I feel very confident he can get a win. And then I think this team can scrap and claw and figure their way out to win another game.
I'm with you. My one worry, and I know we got to take a break, is winning a regional if we have to play 5 games. I think they can win 3.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they can win if they have to play 4. I don't know if they can win if they have to play 5.
Yes.
Kind of like the year at Virginia, they won as a 3 seed. They won it in 3. Basically, they had to.
Yeah.
Because of the pitching depth at the time. All right. By the way, we did decide who the worst team in Virginia is. VCU and William and Mary squared off this past Tuesday. VCU won 16-4 in 8 innings. So
Toilet bowl?
Yeah, that's tough. All right, we'll get a break in. We'll come back. We'll discuss baseball across the Carolinas, maybe mix in some more ECU talk as well. But Cason Remaley is tracking it. He's got the latest power rankings. We'll ask him how much of a disappointment UNCW has been. I want to say he even had the Seahawks winning their first regional this year. They'll have to turn it around to do that. This is Hoist the Colors on a Thursday.
The team of Flatlands Jessup is working overtime to help ensure that Eastern North Carolinians like you get the health insurance help you need this open enrollment period. New legislation passed meaning more people than ever qualify for affordable coverage. Let us help you today.
Are you ready to tackle those yard and garden projects? Come by East Carolina Tractor and Fleet, your local Coyote dealer, and check out their great selection of residential and commercial Coyote tractors. From zero-turn mowers to compact tractors to skid steer loaders, they've got you covered. Some with 0% financing for qualified buyers. Stop by your hometown Coyote dealer, East Carolina Tractor and Fleet, across from the Pitt County Fairgrounds, or online at ectfleet.com. East Carolina Tractor and Fleet. We dig dirt.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville. Do real burgers better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
Tired of the 1-800 numbers advertising Medicare products? Flatlands Jessup has 6 offices all throughout eastern North Carolina. You get face-to-face help from our local award-winning licensed team. Stop by today. Flatlands Jessup, your whole world covered.
What's happening?
Tell me what's happening. Every ECU fan's one stop for all things ECU athletics. This is Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back in Tuesday, April 3rd edition of the show. We've got Cason Remaley from Carolina Curveball, former Hoist the Colors intern Philip Pilkington alongside with us today. And we discussed a lot of ECU baseball in segment 1. We will talk more across the Carolinas here in segment 2. I did want to read some comments about Cameron. He says, about what we were talking about from Cameron. I had asked Cason, will ECU or could ECU have a shot to make a postseason run? Cameron says the only way this team can make a run in the postseason is by luck. We would need regional hosts to be upset early. No way we have the experience to match up with some tournament teams. And Ryan Cole adds, nobody cares how the sausage is made. Wins are wins, even if they come by luck. Most great teams find moments of luck along their runs no matter what. He said Evansville didn't have the experience to match up with some tourney teams, but they won our regional and took a game at Tennessee. Now, Evansville was one of the oldest teams in the country. They just had not had much regional experience, I think is Cameron's point. Regardless, let's take a look around the Carolinas. And, guys, the first D1 baseball field of 64 projection, midseason projection drop. ECU was included. Now, I did listen to their podcast. They have, I believe, South Florida making it as an at-large from the American. Yep, as a 3 seed, and they have ECU as the automatic. So they are assuming ECU in this spot would win the tournament. ECU is the 3rd seed in their projection at the Coastal Carolina Regional. Coastal's the 12th overall seed. Wake Forest, the 2 seed. High Point, the 4 seed. That would be a pretty lit regional, Cason Remaley.
That would be a lot of offense in that regional. That would be a crazy, crazy regional. Coastal Carolina, I think, is playing the best ball of anyone right now in the Carolinas. I think they are so good because, I mean, I've said it on this show, I've said it on our show that they've always been able to mash down there in Conway, but now they have a 3-man rotation that is constantly on our honorable mentions. I know this past week they were on their rotation of Jacob Morrison, Cameron Fluke, and Riley Eckhoff. Each of them 7 innings pitch. 2 of them got the win. 10 Ks, 8 Ks, 8 Ks, and 2 earned runs combined between the 3 of them of their rotation. They've always been able to mash, but now that pitching is there, we saw it firsthand in Greenville. So it is just a massive addition for that program, and they are very, very good right now.
So Coastal, a projected host, again, super early, but just kind of giving an idea of where things stand right now. Clemson, the projected top team in the Carolinas, is the number 4 overall seed. They are hosting Auburn, Southern Cal, and Fordham in this projection. They also have North Carolina hosting as the 10th overall seed, with West Virginia as the 2 seed. And, they have Duke as a 3 and Corvallis at Oregon State. Duke always getting the shaft, having to travel. Ole Miss is the 15th overall seed, projected to host NC State as a 3 seed. So Virginia Tech, by the way, 2 seed, not in the Carolinas, but worth mentioning. They have, I guess, there's been some disappointing teams in the Carolinas too. Like at this point, UNCW, the 2-time defending champ. I do want to ask you about that case in here in a minute, but I don't know. Philip, what has stood out to you about teams in the Carolinas outside of here at home, as far as maybe surprises, disappointments, however you want to take it?
I'm going to go kind of the slow starts in the triangle. I mean, obviously Carolina's been Carolina, but Duke and NC State, I think, didn't come out firing on all cylinders the way we thought they would. Now, there are some teams, especially in the ACC, some of the teams in which they saw early from north of the Carolina Curveball region, not very far north, but the Commonwealth of Virginia that have been playing really well, and that has been some of the reason. That's been some of those losses for some of those ACC triangle teams. But they're coming into their own. I think they're going to be fine. I still think they're going to be contenders. The ACC, man, it's stacked. I know we don't talk about it as much. I know the SEC is better, but it always puts together a really good conference tournament. They got a better format this year. So, Wake is probably about what we expected. We knew they'd take a step back after last year. Obviously, they were the number 1 2 seed overall last year, supposedly, because they went to the 16 seed, which was here. But, yeah, I thought Carolina or State and Duke would be a little better off the jump. But, hey, like I said, they're getting hot here in the second half, and they should be fine. And then, obviously, Wilmington, which we're going to go deeper into with Cason, has been a mega disappointment.
Yeah, so what's the deal with Wilmington? Picked to win the CAA, and they're under 500. They have now lost consecutive series to Campbell, by the way, which has turned this season around. And A&T. I mean, what is going on at Wilmington, Cason?
Yeah, I really can't put my finger on it. It is very, very interesting because they do have the talent. Randy Hood over there always creates a good ball club every year. And Wilmington does have 2 of the top pitchers in the Carolinas, if not the country. And Zane Taylor, who has 5 wins, and Cam Bagwell, who has 5 wins. You put those together, that's 10 wins right there. And Cam Bagwell threw a perfect game 2 weeks ago. In 7 innings, but that was absolutely remarkable. And then Zane Taylor also has 49 strikeouts on the year. That is 8th in the Carolinas. But one name that has not come up a lot this year is Tanner Thatch, who has had a down year this year. He led the Carolinas in home runs last year with, I think, 28 or 29 home runs. The offense has just not been there this year whatsoever. They guys on the mound. But as we saw on this past Tuesday, ECU jumps out to a lead. Wilmington comes back and ties it, scraps their way into it, and then they just give up a grand slam. That's kind of been the theme of the season this far. I think the loss to Campbell was not great, but I think Campbell is rising right now. They have some guys on that team, and Parker Jr. and Thompson, as well as Jet Musing and some other guys on the mound that have been playing well for them. But the A&T loss, I'm going to be honest with you, there's not much I can say about that. I really don't understand how that happens from a Randy Hood program, but not the best year for the Seahawks this year. And the CAA this year is looking like a 1-bid league, and it's going to be an automatic. There will not be multiple bids. I mean, controversy last year with Charleston not getting in, winning 42 games. But this year, Charleston is having a down year too. The CAA is not very, very good this year in the Carolinas.
The Carolina Curveball Power Rankings this week had Clemson at number 1, North Carolina at 2, Coastal 3, Duke 4th, Wake 5th, NC State 6th, ECU 7th. The Pirates have finally passed Wofford, put some distance between them and the Terriers. High Point at 8, South Carolina at 9, Wofford at 10, Campbell 11, Charlotte 12. So Campbell and Charlotte entered the top 12 of the Power Rankings case, and Charlotte has won, 5 in a row. Yep, they swept Memphis, and they won 2 midweeks over Liberty and South Carolina Upstate. Now, Charlotte gets Wichita State and ECU at home each of the next 2 weekends, so a chance to make a move. But they're up to 80 in RPI, so what are you seeing from Charlotte and Campbell that has allowed them to turn their seasons around?
Charlotte has some solid pitching in Blake Gillespie, who has 58 strikeouts, which is tied for 3rd in the Carolinas, and they have another guy in Taylor who is pitching very well on the mound, and they have Cody Gunderson, who's a catcher for Charlotte, batting .385, which is absolutely outstanding. Charlotte is just finding ways to win games. They went up to Arkansas this past year and led for most of that game. Could have took a game in Fayetteville versus Root and Company, if I can say that name on 9th of the game. But they hung with the Razorbacks for a good while. This is a very, very good team. They are up from years past. I'm looking at this Charlotte team like they were 3 or 4 years ago when they came here for the regional. I think they are that caliber team. I think they can sneak. I think they can make some noise in the AAC tournament. I don't know if they're an at-large bid yet. I think they're going to have some work to do. And then Campbell has just been playing outstanding as of late. Jake Murray for them has 53 strikeouts on the year, has just been playing outstanding. And then Darnell Parker Jr. has been playing very, very well for them. He has 13 stolen bags on the year. And just Campbell has really turned it around as of late. They started out going to UC Santa Barbara the opening weekend of the season, which cross-country trip from Bowie's Creek to Santa Barbara, that is just not ideal for any program. Rough start for them, playing good teams, but they've really turned it around. I know they got their clock clean this past Tuesday playing Coastal. They lost a lot to a little, but then again, Coastal was just on a heater like none other this year. But yeah, Campbell has really, really, really turned it around. And it is unfortunate that when ECU played them last, it was the Campbell not right now. Campbell has improved a lot since that game, and ECU still could not find a way to win that game, but really looking forward to when they play again for sure.
Campbell could be the worst team known to man, and they would still find a way to beat the Pirates. Philip, me and you, it sounds like are going to be in the Charlotte area for at least some of the series. I will be. I think you're planning to go to all 3 games. Cason, you're going to be there as well?
I'll be there on Friday night in Truist.
Okay.
All right. So we will have a gathering.
Actually, I need to text you. I emailed the guy that I think is their SID based off their staff page, but also it said he was in charge of baseball and softball, and I don't think that's the same SID for both. So have you got your media pass yet? Meeting on the air?
I have not even reached out. So
Okay.
I can't imagine there's so much. I can't imagine there's a ton of Charlotte baseball coverage.
I don't think there is.
But I'll try to reach out. I'll let Chip know who's in charge of ECU, and he'll put in a good word either way. We'll get it done.
All right,
what
we need
type of?
Because I'm looking forward to going to an away. I've never done an away baseball series, so I'm looking forward to it.
I was going to ask, have you been to Truist Field and also their stadium? Because the Friday night games at Truist, and then the rest of the series is on their campus. So, what can we expect for Pirate fans making the trip?
So I've never been to either one as a media member. So to answer for you and I have no idea what to expect. For fans, Truist, it's a AAA ballpark with a major league backdrop. I mean, when you're sitting down in the stands, you feel like you're in a major league ballpark. When you're down, especially if you're down around behind home plate, it's beautiful. Concession areas are obviously a little more narrow than a major league ballpark, but yeah, I mean, if you're a fan, you got to go to that Friday night game. Saturday, Sunday, it's a little tight. Concourse there it's weird. You kind of walk in, it's almost like being you feel like you're at a college baseball stadium, if you know what I mean. And when I say college, I don't mean East Carolina or the SEC. You kind of walk in, there's like this little concession area, and then you just kind of walk
like
out
Jack
to your
seats.
Yeah, I've never, surprisingly, I've never been there. I've only seen Duke play at DPAC. But Yeah, it's a traditional college baseball stadium. It's nice. It's updated. Like, it feels clean. It feels new. It's a good view. But you definitely, like, it's the historic, like, the ball disappears if it goes over the wall. There's no fans or anything back there. There's just, like, this road behind center field. There's not really a bad seat in the house. I've been to a few games where there'll be a few students. They'll, like, sit on top of the first base dugout and heckle a little bit, but definitely not to the level of, ECU students or Passion. But they'll treat us good when we show up, I think. They're usually nice when they come here. And I have been there as a fan, both when I was a kid growing up and as an ECU fan. We went there, like 3 days before the world shut down for COVID. So.
All right, there is your Charlotte area baseball report, and we do need to get a break in, but I do got to ask Cason before we do, where would you rank Jack Coombs on your all-time power rankings list for baseball venues?
For Power 5, Power 4 program, dead last. For, I would say, college baseball, I would say it's middle tier. We have not found our way to Queens yet, but we are looking to do that this year. So that spot is saved for last. So we're gonna have to see when we get there.
Man, Queens, I can't imagine they have a great baseball facility, but I don't know if it might still be better than Jack Coombs. I don't know.
It was nice when we played them in a minor league park.
That is true. Kannapolis. Yep, that was a good stadium. All right, we'll get a break in. We'll come back. We'll talk. I have an update, guys, of where Cason sits in the standings. I'll tell you where he stands. Out of 71 members of our Hoist the Colors Bracket Challenge, we'll do that. We'll get his take on the Final Four. We'll touch briefly on the transfer portal, what we want to see ECU do in the basketball portal. That next after this break.
Hey, it's Jim Wells again with Wells Roofing and Gutters here in the beautiful community of Lindale, Bedford. At Wells Roofing and Gutters, we believe in quality first, and that's why we use CertainTeed shingles, which are manufactured in Oxford, North Carolina, a local company. In the event you ever do have a claim or a problem with your roof system, they're local and they come and take care of us in a timely manner. We could leave off some accessories and we could certainly save money, but we believe at Wells Roofing and Gutters in installing the correct way per manufacturer requirements, and we warranty your roof both in-house and also with our supplier, who is CertainTeed. For a job Wells done, no shortcuts taken, and a good quality job on your home, give us a call today, 252-227-8403. We also offer financing, 12 months, no interest, no payments.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked to order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
Everything you need to know in the world of ECU athletics. This is Hoist the Colors with Steve and Igo on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in Thursday, April 3rd, segment 3, Hoist the Colors. We've talked a lot of college baseball, a lot of ECU baseball with Cason Remaley and Philip Pilkington. We'll switch gears now. We'll talk Final Four, a few days away from the top 4 seeds in the NCAA tournament, squaring off Florida and Auburn. We'll get it started at 6:09 on Saturday. Houston and Duke scheduled to tip at 8:49 on Saturday.
That ain't happening.
But before we break, yeah, exactly. Scheduled to, it'll be after 9, at least. Now, before we do that, I do have to mention something. So we got the Hoist the Colors Bracket Challenge, by the way. A lot of good entries on this. Aaron Murphy, Ryan Benner, Dave McFadden, Daniel Olson near the top, Wyatt Craig. They all have Duke or Florida winning, so it looks like one of them will be taking on a free year subscription to Hoist the Colors. Cason, it should be said, he doesn't need one because he's lifetime in due to his internship. But in case you're wondering how he's doing, there are 71 members. He's 71st. He has, you have the that is essentially what he could do to his bracket after St. John's, his projected winner, lost in the second round. He's got 35 points, which is, to give you an idea, the top person has 112 points with a max of 176. Cason's max points are 35, so he's maxed out. Cason,
Wait, who's the team you had losing to him in the national championship? You don't have that team left yet either?
I think it was Gonzaga.
Oh. Why the heck would you pick Gonzaga as an 8 seed?
He had, all right, this was his Final Four. Gonzaga, Alabama. He did have an Alabama making the championship. And then he had St. John's and Louisville. St. John's over Louisville. St. John's over Bama. Tough, man. That's why you're a baseball guy now, Cason.
Correct, yes. I will say, though, not making excuses, but my interest for the sport has gone down the last couple months because it has lost its morality. I mean, it is just unbelievable. As some people know, I am plugged in at NC State with their coaching. Was plugged in. Well, kind of still am, but with the Kevin Keats tree and part of the Patino tree with those coaches. And just some of the numbers I've heard that some of these players are getting just makes me just want to just not even turn on a college basketball game. It's absolutely ridiculous. But as far as my bracket goes, it just really just goes to show. And it also does disappoint me that every year I do a bracket, I will say, I'm not defending myself. I'm stating a fact, is my bracket always has a lot of upsets. It's never, ever chalky. I do not like it when it's chalky. And look, hot take, I'm not a fan of the all ones in the the Final Four. I'm just not. I think it was 2-3 years ago when it was like San Diego State, FAU, UConn. Was it Miami? Was Miami the other team? Those are the Final Fours that I like.
Electric.
I like those. I mean, granted, it's going to be some great basketball this weekend. The 4 best, I can confidently say there's the 4 best teams in the country. No question about it. But yeah, for my bracket's sake, looking back on it, Creighton is a better team than Louisville. St. John's can't shoot even water in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. They would not hit water. Gonzaga, I mean, they've made the Sweet 16 like the last 5 or 6 years, so I felt good about them. Normally a 1 always falls before the Sweet 16 most years, and I thought that was going to be the 1 versus Houston because, hear me out, Samson, I'm curious to see what happens on Saturday.
You had 2 1s getting beat in the second round, though, because you had Louisville beating Auburn.
Yes, I also was not a fan of Auburn because they were fading towards the end of the season. They just turned a whole another switch on. And UConn, I had UConn beating Florida. I thought Hurley was just going to get it done. I saw him with my own eyes, and I was just like, he's just a maniac. I feel like if something happens, he'll go out there and just grab a player. So
I get what you're saying, and I agree with you. but to have like no ones, I guess you had 1 2. That's the problem. You had 2 8s. Like I'm with you. Like that year, a few years ago, with all the 2 years ago with like San Diego State and FAU and all that, it was fun, but it's definitely an anomaly. And I also will say, like, you got to remember when you're entering into these pools, you got to have a little chalk. You want to win, you got to have some chalk. You could do your upset bracket to be your official, but you gotta have a little chalk if you want that money.
Yeah, it's one of those things too where, to me, the NCAA tournament, I enjoy more about the story of getting to the Final Four. Like State last year, obviously I was not pulling for NC State, but like their run to the Final Four was incredible. And then, like, honestly, once they get to the Final Four, I'll watch it, but I'm kind of like, I don't really care at this point. So I'll watch it this weekend because it is going to be great basketball. But you just had no magical run this year. And it does feel like that took a lot out of the NCAA tournament story. Now, as a Duke fan, I'm sure you're fired up. And Duke Houston, I will 100% watch every second of that game because that's going to be an absolute battle.
I've been fired up, but I was kind of hoping it was going to be Duke and 3 16 seeds or something.
What do you think about Duke Houston, Cason? Can Sampson get it done? Is he going to win a championship this year?
No. I've got the privilege to see Cooper Flagg play with my own eyes versus NC State, which State pushed them to one of their toughest games at home this season. State did push them to the brink. And after seeing that team up close and personal, Cooper Flagg is the best player I've ever seen play on a college basketball court. I've had the privilege to see a lot of college basketball in my lifetime. He is a pro, and everyone around that team. I think when I saw them play, and I think early February, end of January, I think Malawatch was not a big factor for them. He was not a big part, but now he has started to play very, very well. I think just the surrounding pieces, I've always been a Tyrese Proctor hater. I never thought he was very good, but he has proved me wrong this year. He has been playing some of the best ball of his career. He's been playing very well. I think this is a very good team, but then again, Houston's going to come out and punch them right in the mouth. They're going to be right in their face. They're going to harass them. They're going to try to take Cooper and Conklin-Nipple out of the game first. And I think they're going to say, Sion James, Tyrese Proctor, beat us. So we are going to see. But I think Duke wins pretty easily, honestly. I think this Duke team is just a generational team, in my opinion.
And then any thoughts before we take a break on Auburn and Florida, Cason?
Florida, I think, wins that personally. I got the privilege I went to the NCAA tournament this past year, and I saw them play Norfolk State. Granted, it is Norfolk State, but Walter Clayton, I mean, that is a generational talent. I mean, I know I've said that twice, but Walter Clayton, the shots he makes is just unbelievable. And also, Alex Condon for them is a very good player. I remember watching them, but then when I got to see him in person, he is a very good player. And they have a lot of good pieces on that team, and former American star Elijah Martin has been outstanding for them. I think this Florida team wins, and I do think that Duke over Florida in the national championship.
All right, there you have Cason's picks. We'll get a break.
Please God, let him be right.
Yeah, with the way his bracket.
Yeah, I know. There's no way in heck Duke's winning.
I'll take the opposite. I'll take Houston over Auburn in the title. All right, we'll get a break. I'm actually not picking that, but I'm just doing it facetiously. When we come back, I'm hearing some good numbers on the ECU NIL front for basketball. We'll discuss that briefly and where we want to see ECU put the majority of its money as the basketball portal starts to ramp up. We'll discuss that to close out the show. This is Hoist the Colors.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
Your roof is a vital part of protecting your home and family from dangerous storms and hurricanes. At Assist Roofing, we install and maintain metal roofing that provides precise protection. Add value to your home while lowering utility costs with a fortified roof to last a lifetime. With 0% financing, grants, and Energy Star Green Roofing Tax Credit available. Call us to schedule a free consultation so you can weather any storm with confidence.
Make every day electric on the Kawasaki Electro 20 electric balance bike. Maximize the fun with long run times, impressive top speed, and Kawasaki build quality. Easy adjustability and smooth handling make everyday riding more enjoyable. And the standard MTB type tires provide off-pavement capability. The Kawasaki Electro 20 is the electric balance bike that's built to rip. Go to Ron Ayers Motorsports, Memorial Drive north of the airport, Greenville.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in Color and let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
If you are interested in living longer and living stronger, Eastern Physical and Lifestyle Medicine is accepting new patients for a limited time. Finding a caring physician can be a challenge. Dr. Billy Smith is board certified in physical medicine and lifestyle medicine and has been practicing in the area for many years. Call for an appointment now to Eastern Physical and Lifestyle Medicine, 252-364-1108 in Greenville. That number again is 252-364-1108.
Looking for a great deal on a new Nissan?
At Greenville Nissan, we've got a great selection of new Nissans for under $30,000.
The stylish Nissan Sentra, offering top-notch fuel economy. The Nissan Altima, known for its comfort and technology.
The Nissan Kicks, the perfect combination with its compact design and performance. The Nissan Versa, delivering incredible value without compromising on features. And don't forget the Nissan Rogue, an award winner for 10 years in a row. Drive it home just for $22 down and $349 a month.
Visit GreenvilleNissan.com today.
Greenville Nissan, where we drive to serve.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946. We're live with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Hoist the Johnny Roger!
Now, back to Hoist the Colors.
Final few minutes here of the show. Cason Remaley from Carolina Curveball with us. We talked a lot of baseball and his original passion, basketball. Philip Pilkington producing today's show. We'll touch more on the basketball portal. By the way, guys, Callum Richard, ECU outgoing transfer, just committed to Wofford, so he becomes the latest outgoing Pirate to find a new home. I'm hearing some very encouraging numbers, although everybody's price tag is going up with revenue sharing. As Cason said earlier, like the numbers being thrown out there are crazy. You got a lot of guys who are asking for like $500,000, $600,000. Now, that's not really realistic for like an ECU to pay. So then they circle back around and like, all right, I'll maybe come for 200, 300, which is more reasonable. But I'm hearing ECU will have it, which sounds crazy just to say that. But either way, ECU's in a good spot. I think they'll be towards the top of the American-ish, not Memphis, Tulane, UAB probably, but up there. And, you know, I think in the end, well over $1 million, although I'm not sure what the exact number is between revenue share and NIL. But, Cason, I'm hearing encouraging things. It's great for Mike Schwartz. Obviously, total rebuild going on outside of Jordan Riley, Jay Woodard, and Travion LeBeau returning. So where do you hope they spend this money appropriately?
I mean, I think it really depends on the direction that Schwartz wants to go. Because, I mean, last year we were all talks about, is Woodard going to be the point? And I think that if you do put him at the point and you put Riley at the 2 or the 3 maybe, and LeBeau, I mean, I think all 3 of them are going to start. So those are, I mean, do you want to put LeBeau at the 4? But personally, me, I think you need to spend money on shooting. I think you did this past year with Jan Farrell, but that did not work out for some reason. But I think you spend money on shooting, and I think you get another big like C.J. Walker, maybe a little bit bigger. He was on the shorter end for a 5. He was definitely a 4 more than a 5. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do. I definitely think point guard, if you don't want to go Woodard, or I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, it's very up in the air because Woodard was kind of a question mark this year of what position he plays because he was on the floor with Cam, and then without Cam, it's a question mark. But I will say on the NIL front, knowing some of the numbers around the country in some conferences, if you look, I know this is a fact, if you look at the NIL that each program has in each conference, if you put them from top to bottom, the conference standings at the end of the year will be a perfect mirror image of those NIL numbers. It was that in the ACC, Big Ten, and the SEC. I've seen the numbers and I've seen the standings. They are perfect reflections. So if ECU is at the top, we should expect them to be towards the top, which is encouraging.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how much some of these programs with new coaches and increased revenue share will spend as well in the American. And I don't know, I've kind of said all along I would like to see ECU try to buy a top-notch point guard who can, A, create, B, shoot. Now, there's only so many of those guys available. I just think Woodard, I don't know if he's got the ball handling ability. So I would start there, look for a stretch four, kind of like a Brandon Johnson and then a big. But easier said than done, Philip. I know we've talked about this a few times, but still hearing a bunch of names and don't really know what direction they're going to go in yet just because I think it's going to take some time to go. But are you looking at any position to start with that you would like to see ECU attack?
You got to have a shooter. I think this day in college basketball, I'm going with a shooter one. Like I said, Jay might not have the best handles, but he's serviceable at point guard. We don't have a guy who's serviceable level at shooter, right? You need somebody who's dead-eye, who can change the game, change the momentum, so that's the big thing. But we'll hear what Coach Swartz thinks at 5 o'clock. He's joining the Patrick Johnson Show, and he will let us know what he's looking for. So,
all right, there you go. Nice plug for the Patrick Johnson Show. We're about out of time. Cason, let us know, Carolina Curveball, where we can find your work.
At Carolina Curve BB on X or Twitter, whichever you like to call it. And on Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, same username. Tonight, we will be hosting our weekend preview show. Steven was on it last week. Going to get Philip on there coming up soon as well. Going to preview the Carolinas this weekend as well as talk about the midweek. Also, Duke, I know I probably shouldn't say it now, but for the Carolinas, Duke and Carolina, big-time ACC matchup tonight on HTC Network.
There you go. Cason, appreciate you, man. As always, best of luck with the new gig as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you, boys. See y'all soon.
Philip, thanks to you for your hard work as well. By the way, Carolina Curveball almost at 2,000 followers, so give him a follow. We'll be back tomorrow, 12 noon, with Bobby Harward. We'll preview the weekend, the FAU series, and more. We'll see you then.
This has been